Hi, I'm Tristan with Old English Outfitters, and today we will be reviewing Mossberg's new MC1sc. So Mossberg just released their first handgun in over 100 years with the MC1, which I believe is aimed directly at the Glock 43, not the 43X, but the original. As you can see, both firearms are very similar in size, and the Mossberg actually practically acts as a silhouette of the Glock 43. They both have the extended magazines, and they're very similar in dimensions. One of the most interesting things about the MC1 is how the magazine was designed. I'll take the Glock mag out so we can compare. They're virtually identical, except for the Mossberg has the plastic, the clear view plastic. The jury's still out if the clear plastic is as durable as the thicker black polymer, but we'll have to see. And the best thing about this is the MC1 accepts Glock 43 magazines. I mean, it looks like it was made for it, and it functions. I fired with one, and it worked really well, like it was made for it. Although the Glock 43 and the MC1 have very similar looks and features, there are some new innovations Mossberg has introduced with the MC1. So I'm just going to work my way up the firearm here. First up is the grip zones and the texturing. The texture is very grippy, but not too aggressive. I can get a good purchase on the firearm, and it feels very controllable. The grip zones are primarily on the front strap and the back strap, but I would prefer that it went throughout more of the grip here, but that's more personal preference and doesn't really hinder the performance of the firearm. And if for some reason you needed more texture or more grippiness, something like an adhesive Talon grip would do the job very nicely. It's very comfortable in the hand, especially with this extended magazine here. You don't have to worry about your pinky hanging off. With the flush mag, I would only really use the flush mag for concealed carry. That way you don't have to worry about printing, especially with this overhanging bit with the extended magazine. And then I'd use the extended magazine more as a backup for when you're carrying. The mag release has a very similar texturing and functions very nicely. The magazine comes right out, and of course the magazine release is reversible for all of our lefties out there. For the trigger, Mossberg decided to go with a flat face trigger, something a lot of Glock owners have to upgrade after the fact, so it's very nice that Mossberg decided to include that straight out of the box. The trigger pull is fairly decent on the Mossberg. There's a little bit of a take up, hit the wall, and then there's a clean break. Mossberg reports that there's a 6-pound trigger pull, and I find that to be pretty consistent, and I think that feels about right. The reset on the trigger is also very tactile, easy to hear and feel, nice and crisp. I actually prefer the Mossberg's trigger over the stock Glock. I just feel it is a little smoother and not as mushy. I feel like it's a fairly decent trigger right out of the box. The slide stop on the Mossberg is very compact and easy to use, and it functions like it should. The DLC coating on the MC1 is very durable and tough. It has a high hardness, high corrosion, and it is even self-lubricating. So the slide should be able to hold up fairly decently for your everyday carry needs and should be very durable and should stand the test of time very well, I think. The cocking serrations are very grippy and easy to manipulate. Same goes for the front serrations. Forward cocking serrations seem to be all the rage these days on handguns, so I guess now you can press check to your heart's desire. Mossberg's key innovation with the MC1 here is its safe breakdown design. Unlike Glocks, where you're required to pull the trigger in order to break down the firearm, Mossberg has chosen to implement a breakdown where pulling the trigger is completely unnecessary. So Mossberg achieves this through the back here. You just press it and take that off, and the striker easily comes out, and then the slide comes off. And that's it. It's that easy. I did not have to pull the trigger one time. And while we're in here, the spring and recoil, and then the barrel, it's 3.4 inches. It also shares the same DLC coating found on the slide, so it should be very durable. And then you just slide that back in there, and that, and then you match it up, pull it to the rear, insert the striker. You don't have to push it in too hard, and then you put on the back plate, and it's that easy. Make sure it works, and it works. When I took the Mossberg to the range, I honestly had no idea what to expect. Again, Mossberg hasn't produced a handgun in over 100 years, and I'm not a huge fan of smaller handguns in general. But as it turns out, the MC1 turns out to be a decent little shooter. I shot in groups and rapid fire. And I thought it handled very well, especially for its size. Again, the grip and ergonomics made it very controllable and easy to shoot. It was fairly accurate. There was noticeable muzzle flip, but that's to be expected for its size. I really enjoyed the flat face trigger and much prefer it over the stock Glock 43 trigger. And I think it just performs a lot better, and it's just satisfying. It's a good trigger overall out of the box, and I really appreciate that Mossberg was able to provide a flat face trigger. It is interesting how Mossberg manages to deliver a great alternative to the Glock 43 while also managing to undercut the price by over $100 without coming across as a cheap knockoff. The Mossberg is a quality product, and I think it goes toe-to-toe with the original Glock 43 in my opinion. I think features like the flat face trigger and the safe breakdown just edge out the 43 for me. And then the compatibility with 43 mags makes it a great value if you are a 43 owner and you're looking for something new, but you want to keep those extra mags so you don't have to reinvest in new mags. That's a nice thing that Mossberg clearly thought out. It is clear that Mossberg was aiming to compete directly with the Glock 43, so one has to wonder if somehow Glock caught wind of what Mossberg had cooking in the kitchen, and somehow that urged them to update the 43 with the new 43X. That's probably not exactly how it happened, but it is interesting to consider. Alright guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, we'd really appreciate it if you would take the time and hit that giant red subscribe button. Like this video and comment down below and let us know what you think about the MC1 here. That's all I have for you. Again, I'm Tristan with Old English Outfitters, and we'll see you next time.